Well, a slightly different mini prediction show from the EFL Championship this midweek. We return for match week 29.5, and all of the focus is on one game. Due to a floodlight failure a number of weeks ago at Fratton Park, we are back today to talk about Portsmouth versus Millwall in what is sure to be a very important match in that sort of battle to get away from the relegation zone. So as always, we're going to preview and predict the game. We'll do a bit more detail as it's just the one fixture. And as always, I'll encourage you to get involved in the comments below. Give your score prediction for this Tuesday's fixture. And if you beat or match my overall score, 3 points for a perfect score prediction and 1 point for the correct outcome. You'll get a shout out on Wednesday afternoon when we return with match week 30 and a full weekend preview. But for now, let's go and look ahead to Portsmouth versus Millwall on Tuesday night at Fratton Park. A very big game for both sides. It is 21st v 16th, but just 5 points separating the two of them. And of course, both sides have very differing weekends. I think you would say that. Portsmouth sit 2 points above the relegation zone after another pretty dismal away display, it must be said. 5-1 the defeat away at West Brom. Of course, it's a poor end to what was a very good week after back-to-back home wins, but you've almost got to give John Mousinho a little bit of credit here because he's been quite ballsy with the way he's gone about things. He is resting certain players away from home in the Championship. He is saying that the squad isn't strong enough to compete every week, so I'm prioritising the games. And over the past couple of months, he's put a clear emphasis and focus on being strong at home. Since the likes of Colby Bishop have returned, getting Callum Lang to his best form, he's always focused on, can we be an attacking threat at home now and start picking up points, because that's going to make the difference. And look, Portsmouth were awful at West Brom. They lost 5-1. Let's be fair, the goalkeeper basically threw it away early doors. A mistake for the first one. The second one, he probably shouldn't have parried either. And at 2-0, it then becomes a very difficult task, particularly against a side as disciplined as West Brom, with the excitement of Tony Mowbray being back for his first home game in charge. It was always going to be an uphill task, and defensively it was a very poor display. But Portsmouth did gamble on the home games being the solution, and in that game they did still have some chances, albeit they gave up far too many. But the clear stat for Pompey is at home. Now, you look at the overall form table this season for home form and you say, Portsmouth, well, 14th place, 6 wins out of 13. Is it that special? Well, actually, it now is, because not only are Portsmouth winning back-to-back games last week at home, their 6 wins have all come in their last 7 home games. 1 draw in the middle of that as well. It's an unbeaten run, which has seen them win 6 in 7 at home. And you only have to look at last week where they beat Middlesbrough at home. They're able to do well against very strong opposition in the Championship and sides that have got pretty good away records, it must be said, this year. The other thing that's impressive about Portsmouth at home is that after this weekend and that 5-1 defeat at West Brom, they have now become the second worst defence in the Championship this year, overtaking Luton and just behind Plymouth Argyle now. At home, however, they have conceded just 13 goals in 13 games. And if you look at most of their wins, they have been while scoring 1. And they've started to put the goals away as well. 3-2 and a 4 and another 3, all in that run of 7 fixtures. The goals are starting to flow at home at Fratton Park. And you can see that John Mousinho is targeting that and thinking, look, if we win another, well, you look at the table, if they win another 6 or 7 home games, they're probably going to be there. So it really is a bold strategy. Whether or not it will change if they can add a couple of players before the end of the month, we'll wait and see. Because away from home, they could do with being more competitive. We look at the flip side of their defensive record. That 5 at West Brom now makes them a worse away defence than Plymouth, therefore being the worst in the Championship. However, whether they can change that as they get players in, we'll wait to see if it will be addressed. But at home, Portsmouth are now one of the form teams in the Championship, despite the fact they've lost 3 of their last 5 overall because they were all away from home. For Millwall, it's a slightly different story. Of course, we're doing well early in the season under Neil Harris, but scoring goals has always been a problem. They had the rare feat of scoring more than 1 in a game against Cardiff last midweek, but then still threw away a 2-goal lead. But they finally did get their first league win under Alex Neil at the weekend at Luton Town, a game I obviously will have seen in detail as a Luton fan. If we're being completely honest, it was a really poor game between two sides, low in confidence, not in great form, but was settled by a moment of magic from Ivanovic. A brilliant goal from the edge of the box on a half volley. Fantastic goal, deserved to win the game. And let's be fair, Luton didn't look like scoring all day. So defensively, they were fairly robust and they dealt with the balls into the box, which obviously a lot of teams struggled to deal with that from Luton for set pieces. They did have a couple of other chances, obviously the penalty being the key one, but it wasn't a display where Millwall were just carving a team open over and over again, which you don't often see with them in fairness. But it was a poor physical game, which Millwall had the moment of magic in. But the thing that will please them is the fact that after that Cardiff match, they were more defensively solid. Now, that's not generally been so much of a problem for Millwall this year. If we look at their record on the road in particular, they've played 13 matches, they've scored 11 and conceded 13. Goals are the problem, conceding them, not so much. They have moved away from that relegation zone, 7 points clear now with the win at the weekend, but they are a side that just love a draw. They've drawn 10 this season, which is up there in the top 7 or 8 in the Championship, and away from home, they've drawn 7 matches, which is just below Cardiff as joint second most. They've only won 2 of their 13, but that's where this becomes a little bit tricky because Millwall are a side who, away from home, over half the time will draw. Pompey at home at the minute just seem to win, but they do tend to concede. So where on earth do you go with a score prediction here? Because Millwall will be more robust defensively than even Stoke or Middlesbrough were last week at their home games. But they're also not going to offer as much of an attacking threat. So how will Pompey address that? You would also expect this is going to be one of those games where they're given the opportunity to control possession. And we have seen at times, particularly earlier in the season, Pompey struggled more when the onus was on them to break teams down. Whereas when they've had space in behind, we saw it in evidence last week with the likes of Callum Lang, there's plenty of space in to run into. So I actually think this game's going to be a little bit trickier, and I'm stuck very closely between two scorelines, which, as many of you will probably predict, is the Championship's favourite scoreline and a 2-1 Pompey win. Evidence would suggest that Pompey aren't keeping many clean sheets, so I don't think I can go for that. And to be fair, I know they had the frustrations at home to Hull and to Oxford, but on the road, the last couple at Luton, at Sheffield Wednesday, Millwall have been scoring goals. So I'm going to go for Millwall to get a goal here, but I think I'm just about going to back Portsmouth for the home form. I'm going to go for them to edge this game by 2-1. I've actually been really impressed with them at home in recent weeks. And if they keep key players fit, I think they will stay up, because I think there are poorer sides down there. Unfortunately, my club Luton look like one of them at the minute. But I'm going to go narrowly for Portsmouth by 2-1, as much as the Championship's favourite scoreline was calling me, and it's the same mistake I made in the last mini midweek fixture prediction. I'm going to go for Portsmouth by 2-1. So that's my prediction for the one rearranged game this Tuesday. I've gone for Portsmouth to beat Millwall by 2-1. Do you agree or disagree with my prediction? Let me know in the comments below. Give me your score, give me the reason why, and we'll see how many of you are right. We'll return on Wednesday to look ahead to match week 30, a full weekend fixture list in the EFL Championship. We'll do our recap of match week 29 and of this one on Tuesday night. For now though, if you did enjoy it, please do chuck a thumbs up, and if you want to stay up to date with everything on the channel, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. A massive thank you for watching and your support as always. I hope you enjoyed the game if you're a Pompey or Millwall fan, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday to look ahead to another action-packed weekend of EFL Championship action.